right, guys, thanks for joining us for another video. I am Jeff, and this is Ottawa Bike and Trail, and I am getting ready for my big bike packing trip. I'm going to be going down to Northwest Arkansas to ride the Buffalo River Trail, and this is a route that I discovered through the Bikepacking Routes website. I will leave a link below. They have a bunch of really curated bikepacking routes all over the country, and they have a bunch of them in Northwest Arkansas, and the Buffalo River Trail caught my eye, and I'm gonna do about 160 miles of that. So I'm gonna take you along for the ride, but before we do, I need to get my bike set up and put all of the things I'm gonna be bringing with me on my bike. So I'm gonna show you how I'm setting up my bike. The one thing to know about this trip is I'm only camping out the first night. So fortunately, my wife wanted to check out this part of the state of Arkansas. We've never really spent much time down there. So she's coming along with me. She has rented an Airbnb for the last 3 nights. So I'm gonna camp out the first night and be able to relax in a really nice Airbnb the other nights. So really everything I'm packing on the bike is for a 1 night, overnight. The rest of the time I'll be able to ride a little bit with a little bit less weight on the bike. So we'll see how that goes, but let's get it set up. I'll show you kind of how I'm going through it. All right, so if you've been watching the channel, you recognize this bike. This is my Surly Bridge Club that we did a 2x drivetrain conversion on. When I originally built the bike up, I put the dyno hub, the front rack, the front basket, and kind of set it up as you see it here. The only addition for this trip is this Surly rear rack that I just recently added. Originally was going to put a tubeless rack on the back, and I ordered it, and it sat here in the store for a couple of days, and somebody wanted to buy it. So I went ahead and sold it to them, and I'm using the Surly rack instead. Maybe I'll try a tubeless rack at some point in the near future. But my basic setup, I'm using these Ortlieb gravel bags, and they're very small bags, but perfect for a 1 night, overnight. I've got my sleeping bag, I've got my tent, and then I've got my Swift Industries Sugar Loaf basket bag that's gonna go in the front basket. And then I gotta figure out a place to stuff that pillow. As we're on the trip, I'll kind of talk about what I have in each of these bags. But for now, I just wanna make sure that I get them set up on the bike properly and that it's gonna work the way I think it's gonna work. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to do is put my Ortlieb bags on here. The trick is going to be fitting the tent in this bag. I'm hoping it fits. Otherwise, I'm going to have to figure out something else. But yeah, I think I can get it to fit in there. All right, so I'll have a few other things in this bag, but the main thing that needs to go in there is the tent. All right, so I love these, the way the Ortlieb attachment systems work. You've got, this attaches over the top bar of the rack, very adjustable so we can get it the right way. And then these attach down here to keep the bag from moving around. And again, these are very small bags. I have some larger versions of these bags as well, but for what I'm doing, these are just the right size. There we go. Just have to mess with them a little bit to get the little arms to go where I want them to go. All right, get the other one on. There we go. Perfect. I got the rear bags on just how I want them. Perfect. All right. All right, so now the other big piece that I need to figure out is my sleeping bag. So I got this compression sack here. It's a little big for the bag probably, but And I'm probably gonna get a new sleeping bag at some point, but this will work. I found this at the little outdoor store down the street, so I'm gonna compress it up as much as possible. And then I'm going to strap it right behind this seat. I think that's the best place for it. The other thing I'm trying to figure out is I got this new Helionox chair, and these things are incredible. I'm gonna probably start carrying them in the store. Don't have them at the moment, but this will be my first time trying one of these out. But anytime I do a bike packing trip, a lot of people have them. The challenge is they are a little bit difficult to find a spot to store them, but I'm gonna try to put it in the stuff sack with the sleeping bag. I think that'll work. Let's give that a shot. So this stuff sack is actually like an Army issue sack, and it's somewhat water resistant. I do have a waterproof bag that I can put my sleeping bag in if I need it, but the chair fits nicely in there, so that's gonna go nice. It just won't allow me to compress it down quite as much, but that's fine. One of the things I like about this bag is the compression straps themselves allow you to compress the bag down as much as possible. And you know, makes a pretty nice small kit. And then I can run my straps through here to hold the sleeping bag onto the bike. So, you know, nothing super fancy, but I think it'll work really nice. So of course, I'm gonna use these valet straps to secure the bag to the rear rack. I'll run it through the straps on the bag. Just secure it down here with the strap. Perfect. Cinch it down tightly. All right, that's perfect. And then I'll want to secure these so they're not flapping around. All right, I think the back of the bike looks pretty good. I prefer the kind of touring setup as opposed to the bike packing setup with the rear seat bag, just because I like to have a little bit more space. I'm not that concerned about weight, although I want to keep it as light as I can, so I'm trying to minimize what I'm packing, but I just like the feel of this. The one big opportunity, my sleeping bag is bigger than it needs to be and a little heavier. I'm gonna invest in a little bit nicer, smaller sleeping bag here, probably before my next trip, but for now this will work. I got my chair in here, I got my sleeping bag in here, nice and secure. And I've got my tent in one side, I've got my air mattress and a few other things on the other side. I'll put my food in here and other things that I'll need for camping all in here. So let's work on the front now. All right, up front on my 8-pack rack and my basket, this is easy. Put my Sugarloaf bag in. Fits perfectly in this space. Run the straps through and strap it down. There we go. All right, so I love the basket and the Sugarloaf bag, works perfectly. The nice thing about this is I keep all my camera equipment up here so I can have easy access to it. I also keep, you know, things I'm gonna need on the ride I got my tools in here. I've got my snacks in here, and you know, everything I need to be able to get to quickly. I'm also gonna be using this feed bag. I'll put an extra bottle of water in here, my camera, sometimes my phone, and everything I need up here. I got my bike computer on the front. I am just carrying 2 water bottles, but I might go ahead and add another water bottle cage there just so I have a little bit of extra. I probably won't need it for the ride, but I'll need it for the overnight. There's no water where I'm camping, so I'll need to be able to store a little bit of extra water. So between those 3, as well as probably an extra bottle here, or just throwing a bottle in here that I pick up along the way. So the other option for carrying stuff would be putting fork mounts here and an anything cage or something like that down here, but I'm trying to go as light as possible and avoid doing that if I don't need to. I'll bring everything I need in case I decide I want to add some more things when I get down there, but I don't plan on putting anything in here, so relying on what I have. All right, so one last thing I gotta find a spot for is my pillow. This is a Thermarest pillow that scrunches down, pretty small, and I wouldn't go on an overnight without it. This thing is really comfortable. So let's see how small I can make it. There we go. There are certainly smaller pillows, and most of those are inflatable, and this is more comfortable. So it's worth it to me to have a little bit more bulky pillow just to be comfortable. All right, there we go. Now I'm hopeful I can fit this in one of the rear bags with my tent, probably. I think it'll fit in there. All right, so this rear bag's a little tight. So what I ended up doing was pulling the poles out and the stakes, and I will kind of pack those in there separately, and that will allow me to stuff this down quite a bit to get it to fit the tent itself, to get it to fit in here. There we go. All right. Yeah, so I think I'll take the poles and put them in the stuff sack with the chair. This was just something else I could probably put on the front, but I'd rather not bend a pole or something, so I think putting it back here makes more sense. And that'll give me a little more room in the side bag for other stuff, extra clothing, rain jacket, that kind of stuff. There we go. There we go. All right, so I got my tent poles in the back, got my saddle, or my chair in the back, got my sleeping bag in the back, everything's secure there. Got my 2 saddle bags, my front bag, my feed bag. I think I'm ready to go. Let's go take it out for a test ride. Let's see how it goes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Man, this thing feels really balanced. Given my, it's not a huge load by any means. Although I could stretch this multiple nights. Really wouldn't need much else. I think with the addition of a couple of bags on the fork, I could carry a lot more food and other things. But I think for this trip, I'm gonna be all set. I will add another water bottle cage underneath. But yeah, it handles great. The tires are great. Yeah, I think I'm all set. Let's get down to Arkansas and get this thing underway.